I have with me in the studio the spokesman of the Aswe Ogie campaign team. I'd like to thank very especially Barrister Daniel Osa Ogbegie. Thank you for joining me on the program.
That's for having me this morning. Yeah, it's rather unfortunate what is going on in Edo State, where you have politicians who are not prepared for the job that they are seeking, and they want to divert attention from themselves. They want to attract sympathy, from the people to themselves, and they orchestrate all manner of violence. They orchestrate all manner of political shenanigans, so that they could paint the government, the Edo State government, black. But this is a knowledge based generation. This is a generation where everybody has a phone, everybody is a cameraman, so it is quite easy to be able to decipher the truth for those who are really interested in the truth. Now, I would like to look at all the news items that you read out just now, starting from the case with the Oba. That case is between some suspended Enige and the Oba of Benin. And there's nothing political about it. It is about how the 5% revenue accruing to traditional institutions in the Edo South will be shared. And it's about whether the Oba had the right to, on his own, suspend them. So I think the court has a right to be able to interpret the law, so that it will be clear to all and sundry those two major issues. There's nothing concerning the Edo State government, but politicians know who they are, especially those who are not ready, do not plan for the people. They started making it about the government of Edo State, so that by extension, it could be about the leading candidate in this election, Dr. Aswe Embattled. That is what it is, and nothing more. And even days before that Monday, they were already mobilizing on social media, telling their supporters to come to the court for demonstration. What concerns APC and Labour Party with a matter that is instituted in court against the Oba of Benin? We are Edo people. We are loyal to our Oba. The Oba has not told us one way or the other that the government took him to court. So there was simply no reason for them to do what they are doing if they really had plan or any good agenda for Edo people. Then looking at the other one where people were, there was gunshots, there were gunshots in front of the airport road, and the policeman was said to have lost his life. It was as a result of the brigandage that the former deputy governor of Edo State descended into by, trying to execute a judgment of the court by himself. So he was going to resort to self-help to declare himself the deputy governor of Edo State that the court said he has been reinstated. A judgment of a court is the property of a court and can only be executed by the court through court officials like the bailiffs and the rest of them. The bailiff writes to the police and they execute. I was reading one ill-informed and ignorant article written by some APC members that the judgment was a declaratory judgment and it ought not to be stayed. The declaratory judgment cannot be stayed. Of course, if they say the judgment was a declaratory judgment, so that means that Shaibu did not have a right to go and execute by himself, because a declaratory judgment cannot be enforced on his own unless by order of another court. So what you do is to approach the court, that same court, or even another court, to give specific orders that you can call their executory orders for those declaratory judgments to be executed. But if you look at some of the positions or the judgment or the decision of the court of Wednesday were clearly executory, because he said that he was illegally impeached, and that the police
should restore,
should help him so that he can be restored as those were orders that are executory in nature. So if they are executory, so that means they can be stayed. Now we are not saying that what the Edo State government filed, that the notice of appeal and the stay of execution have been granted. No, they've not been granted. But once a party files a notice of appeal and a stay of execution, and they are first of all served on the lower court, on the trial court, and served on the executing agency, the parties will remain.
The status quo will remain.
The status quo will remain.
Okay.
You will not move anything to execute. You will wait. This is not the first time we've had things like this. When Adams Oshomole was declared by the tribunal in 2008 to be the validly elected governor in that election, he did not immediately move to Denis Osadebe. He did not immediately declare himself the governor. He did not immediately go and take seal of the governor of Edo State and put it on his car, attached to his car. There is that governor. He waited for the other party to appeal. And of course, they filed a notice of appeal, they appealed the judgment, and the judgment was upheld by the Court of Appeal. And the Court of Appeal at that time was the final court in Election Petition Tribunal at that time. And that was the following day, he was sworn in as governor. So why was Philip Shaibu in a hurry? And why did he decide to resort to self-help?
Okay.
Those are the things.
Let me, because it's an ongoing issue.
No, just a minute. A person that has been so, that the system has been so fair to, right from when Philip Shaibu was NAS president, then he became a two-time member of the Edo State Assembly, they became a member of the House of Representatives, and became deputy governor of Edo State 2 times. The Nigerian nation, the Edo people, have been fair to him. Why couldn't he just wait? Why try to hit on the polity?
Okay, let me bring you in line with this perspective. The Federal High Court in Abuja did rule that the impeachment of Philip Shaibu as deputy governor was illegal, and that his security details should be returned, should be restored, and helped to restore to his position. That was the position of the
of the High Court.
Of the High Court, Justice James Omotosho. Now, once that judgment came forth, what is the procedures needed to be followed for that action to implement?
The registrar of that court will write to the Nigerian police. In fact, first of all, there will be an application for the CTC. The CTC will be out. The registrar will write to the Nigerian police to help enforce the judgment. The belief of court will need the Nigerian police. The Nigerian police will only serve to protect it. It is not even the Nigerian police that enforce per se, but they only serve to protect court officers, to enforce the judgment of the court. But Philip Shaibu did not wait for all of this, and he tried to declare. If I even did, because I saw in one of the videos that you even played just now, where he put the seal of the deputy governor of Edo State on his vehicle as the plate number of his vehicle.
That may have been there for long. That may have been
there. He was not supposed to use it. Immediately he was impeached, he was supposed to remove it. So I'm sure he removed it all this time. But because the court declared, and you know, that trial court, the Federal High Court, was a court of first instance. There are other courts that will adjudicate on it. There will be the Court of Appeal, there will be the Supreme Court, if the other party, chooses to appeal. Now, in this case, they chose to appeal, and they filed a notice of appeal and a stay of execution. Now, granted that a stay of execution does not automatically operate as a stay unless the order for stay has been made.
Granted.
But there's a plethora of Supreme Court authorities that once a notice of appeal and a stay of execution are filed, and the lower court, the trial court in this case, is served, that it will effectively operate for the parties to maintain status quo. Because if they don't maintain status quo and there's execution, then the proceeding at the court of appeal may be rendered nugatory, may be rendered useless. The court of appeal will be frustrated in its proceedings. Now, what do you think that if Shaibu was sworn in again as deputy governor, or he was allowed to occupy the office, go back to the office, then you go to the court of appeal, and the court of appeal gives an order to stay execution. So are you going to tell him to vacate the office again? So it will not make sense.
Okay, well, we also heard we heard Comrade Felix Shaibu saying that his intention wasn't on a self-help mission.
Yes.
His supporters came to the airport to welcome him, to receive him, and then next thing.
Now, to even look at that critically,
yes,
they said that the Edo State security network, they were the ones that were shooting. Now, you saw the videos you have seen. Edo State security network, they normally wear uniform. Did you see anybody wearing the uniform of the Edo State security network? There was none. And, you know, may God rest his soul of the police officer that was allegedly killed. But if you look at the bullet hole on his body, it looked like it was an AK-47 bullet hole. It didn't look as though it was pump action, the one that these people carry about, or it was a barrel, the one that they carry about. And again, I saw another video where the police officer was running by himself after he was allegedly shot.
Okay.
And there was no blood. Is it that he didn't use blood? He didn't have blood in his body? So all these are questions for the police to further probe, to ascertain what really happened. They said they took him into a bus. Did they have first aid bus inside the bus? So these are the questions. And in front of the that airport, there's a top class hospital directly in front. Why didn't they take him just across the road to the hospital? Fate made the place is there. Why? So there are many questions. And the next day, because they said that police was police aid or ugly to Mondo Beolo, the APC candidate. Now, but the next day, Beolo was osmized. He went to the airport to receive or welcome the national chairman of the APC. Osmized with joy. And somebody that allegedly lost his police aid less than 24 hours before that day. It was osmized, he went to welcome. So a lot of things do not add up. I was not there. I cannot speculate on anything. What I'm saying now are based on the evidence before me as regards the videos that they are sharing. All the people I saw there were APC members. Those that they refer to as lions and tigers. And the next day, they went around many streets in Benin chanting war songs. That same day, that Thursday, they were chanting war songs. The next day, they were chanting war songs. And it has left me with no option than to believe that because the APC does not have substance, their candidate does not have an agenda, no manifesto, nothing to talk to Edo people about, it is the reason why they are trying to mask that deficiency, that inadequacy, with all these results to bring Gadesh and to give a dog a bad name in order to hang the dog. The Edo State government has released reports to denounce their activities. And I hope that the police will be bold enough, courageous enough to come out with their findings when they've completed investigations.
Okay. If you just join us, it's still Politics Today on Independent Television and Radio. We're reviewing some of the events that happened this week in the build-up to the Edo State governorship election, beginning with the Thursday's incident in which there was sporadic shooting on Airport Road. A policeman allegedly lost his life. Another guy, from the video that I saw, was shot on his thigh. So we hope that security agents will swing into action. Let the truth in all of these come into the public domain so people can really make sense of what transpired in that incident. Okay, On the day that Felix Shaibu got the judgment in his favor, declaring his impeachment illegal, there was also another judgment by Justice James Omotosho.
Yes, the same judge.
The judgment was on the alleged forgery of voters' card by the PDP candidate Aswa Igodalo, your principal.
Yes.
What's the position of the judge on that case?
It was very clear. The judge said that Philip Shaibu could not prove forgery against Aswa Igodalo, and that of course the case was statute barred. It was brought out of time, out of the time they were supposed to, actually file it. Now, that again, and the jury stated that Aswa Igodalo was validly nominated. He was the valid candidate of the PDP for this year's election. Now, what all of these are showing is that the APC do not want a free and fair election. They are not fair. They are not good sportsmen. They know that they made the mistake of bringing the person that they brought as candidate, and they are doing everything possible to ensure that the popular candidate should not be on the ballot. All the cases they brought have been destroyed. All their shenanigans have been found out, and we just want Edo people to know that these are people who do not really mean well for Edo State. They even mean well. Let them tell Modo Beolo to come out with his agenda, to come out with his manifesto, to come out with his plan for Edo State. And he should not just come out with it. He should come and speak to Edo people about his plan for them. And if he cannot say his plan in English, he can as well speak a sign language and tell Edo people. Edo is a monolithic state. We understand one another. We will understand the sign he speaks if he can. But Dr. Aswa Igodalo has a manifesto. He has an agenda which he calls Pathway to Prosperity for All. And I have it here for Edo people to see. We should tell the APC and their candidate to bring their own manifesto and speak to Edo people about the manifesto. All the plans that Aswa Igodalo has for Edo people are here. And when we are talking about Edo people, we don't just mean Edo people based in Edo State. As the APC, are trying to make Edo people feel, because they call Aswa Igodalo a stranger. But this is somebody that is Edo. He is from Esa, he is from Ewohimi, he is from Okaigbe. All in Edo State. His father, we all know his father, was a permanent secretary in this country, served this country before he died. He served Edo State, served Ewohimi people. Ewohimi people are proud of their son. And when they say it, some people that say it, their children don't live in Edo State. Their children live either in America or in the UK or in Abuja or Lagos. So does it mean that when their children come of age and they want to contest in an election, we'll drive them away and say they are strangers? So Edo people, this agenda, Pathway to Prosperity for All, is not only for a few people. It's not only for PDP members. It's not only for Benin people. It's not only for Eastern people or Afema people. It's for all Edo people, whether those who are based in Edo State or those who are based in Europe or America, in African countries, or even in Asia. And it is not only just for Edo indigenes, it's also for residents of Edo State. Whether you are Igbo, whether you are Hausa, whether you are Shekiri, whether you are Ijo, Ika, wherever you come from Akwa Ibom, Cross Rivers, Benue State. But as far as you live and do business in Edo State, it is for you. And Aswa Igodalo has said that the first 3 months of his government, once he's sworn in November, the first 3 months, he's going to make conditional transfer to indigent people in Edo State. And they are going to, first of all, select 50 indigent people. We'll be sure that these are really indigent, they are poor, and they'll be paid 50,000 naira every month for the first 3 months. And after that, he's going to give business grants to 1,000 Edo people to support their business. And of course, we also look at innovators, young innovators. There are some young innovators in Edo State. They are looking for those 1 million naira to be able to start their business and take it up. But nobody is able to give it to them.
You have 50,000
Yes.
people.
For food, to take care of them, for food, to feed.
50,000. The population of Edo State is over 4 million.
But yes, but we will choose, that population is with father, mother, children. But we are going to choose 50,000 families. 50,000 families to be able to support them, to be able to feed at least for the first 3 months. They will support 1,000 businesses, small businesses, so that they will thrive. And we will look at, especially young innovators. We will look at traders, and we will look at farmers to support.
Okay. What's your take on the seeming bifurcation in the PDP? Whether we like it or not, these cracks are still there, particularly the bifurcation along the new PDP and the old PDP. And then there seems to be some sort of alignment with the major opposition party, the APC. What's your take on this? How is your principal dealing with that?
Yes, there was, yes, they did everything possible to talk with them. But somebody who is not ready to work with you, somebody who is not ready to be your friend, you cannot force the person to be your friend. So they've even made it easier for us. The renegade group in the PDP that call themselves Legacy PDP, their leaders, especially their leaders, because those who follow them, many of them, if not 90% of them, are still in PDP, and they are working for the actualization of the governorship bid of Asue Ighodalo. But their leaders who feel that they lost start in the power game in the PDP, they are now officially in the APC. I saw Philip Shaibu yesterday morning. He was on a sister national TV where he openly said that he was now officially a member of the APC. Because when the presenter asked him, you are one leg in APC, the other leg in PDP, he said no, that he was fully in APC. And on Saturday, which is today, he was going to declare officially Philip Shaibu. And there are many of them who are going to go with him. But of course, there is that politics. So we respect their decision. There's freedom of association. There's freedom of movement. So if they feel that they are not joining the APC because they like the program or the candidate of the APC, because there's none. They are joining because they feel that Godwin Obaseki did not open the vote for them. He did not open.
Yeah, they told you this, or this is your own.
But that's what they complain informally. They say it informally, and they say that he did not engage them. He did not take care of them, and after they made him governor. So, but should he be taking care of them, or should be taking care of the general interest of Edo people? That is what should concern us more. Now, this election, Sonny Duke, is now becoming the people versus the politicians. And they are saying that Godwin Obaseki is decimating the political class in Edo State. Now, before Godwin Obaseki came, the political class, they were used to getting handouts from government. The previous government, especially that of Adam Shomole, opened the vote, was doling out money to them. So today, Godwin Obaseki is channeling it towards working for Edo people and for the better interest of Edo people, and they are angry. So they now declare war on him. But that war is not against Godwin Obaseki, as a matter of fact. It's not against Asue Ighodalo. It's actually against the Edo people. So the Edo people must rise up to say no, they are the actual owners of the land. And they are going to fight to show that they own the, we are as equal stakeholders. But the Edo people are much more than the politicians. The politicians constitute less than 20% of the population, maybe even less than 10% of the population. But because some people have been laid back for the past few years, so that's why the politicians feel that they are in charge. Okay. But the people that are actually in charge are the masses.
Your principal has said for the opt-in time that he's going to continue from where Governor Obaseki stopped.
Yes.
That statement is huge, isn't it?
I've made the point many times. It is not only about Godwin Obaseki. If I did not specifically mention Godwin Obaseki, he said he will continue from where previous governments stopped. So those previous governments include Godwin Obaseki, Adams Oshomole, Professor Seremon Sumbo, Chief Lucky Gbinejo, and Chief Odigi Oyegu. And if you recall, Godwin Obaseki completed many projects that Samuel Bemudia started. Many projects that Bruce Ali started. I can mention some of them. The civil service buildings on Sapler Road and the ones in GROA. He completed all of them and made them ultra-modern. The Benin Technical College, the Igara Technical College that the Obaseki has now planned, he rebuilt and is now planning to make it a campus of, I think it's the college Atusen or Igoraki. I'm not too sure. I confuse the two of them a lot. So a lot of things Governor Obaseki has been doing was to complete projects of the previous government while also starting his own. Most governments in Nigeria, they normally abandon the projects of their predecessor. But it shouldn't be so. If you really mean well for the society, you should complete all abandoned projects while also carrying out your own. So that was what Asue Godalo actually meant, that we continue from where they stop. So if they stop at a particular place, you're not going to expect him to abandon them. It's going to continue.
Okay.
It's going to fine-tune.
So what in your opinion, works for Asue Ighodalo in this election?
What works for him is that he's the only one with a plan. He's the only one talking to Edo people. He's the only one engaging Edo people on the real issues. And he has promised prosperity for all Edos. He is not tribalistic. Even if he's Esan, he's Edo, his wife is Igbo. And the way he engages, I mean, see, you can see his camp. I'm Benin. I'm his chief spokesman. And there are other people who are from all parts of Edo State that he engaged. Many of his PAs are either Afema or Esan or Benin or Akoko Edo Onwa and all of that. So he's completely detribalized and he's a world citizen. I think Edo people should actually be excited at what is coming for them. They should be excited about the impending government of Asue Ighodalo.
What do you make of the feeling that the sins of Governor Godwin Obaseki will be a major challenge for Asue Ighodalo in this election?
Yeah, what are the sins? Because if it's going to be a major challenge, it's being accentuated, it's being overblown by the opposition. Now, what are his sins? They are saying that he did not take care of them after they made him governor. They are also trying to link him with the case against the Oba of Benin. And there's nothing on the face of that case, all the processes filed, that showed that Godwin Obaseki, the governor of Edo State, had any interest, had anything to do with that case. So, what are his sins? Contextually, comparatively, the man has done well over time. Now, when they say that there were some promises that he did not fulfill, no government can do everything. No government, if I no government in the history of this world.
So why do you make a promise where you are not certain you will be able to fulfill it? Why do you make a promise?
Now, when you make promise before you enter,
I mean, one would have expected that you've done some feasibility studies to assess the situation in terms of the funding, in terms of what is required to be able to actualize it.
The promise that you make, your agenda are mostly working documents, things to work with. I'm aware that even the Gele, the most talked about Gele, there are a lot going on there. There are a lot of feasibility studies, a lot of things that have been done, contracts that have been given. And many of these things do not happen in one day. So those are the albatross, those are the things that the opposition hold against him. But when you compare his government with previous government, you will see that he is by far better than every governor that we have had.
But there are people who will score this government very low in terms of road construction.
Road construction, where no government in this state,
in terms of road construction, in terms of quality of road construction.
Yeah. No government has done as much inner roads as Godwin Obaseki. No government in the history of Edo State. And I will feel, with due respect, that he probably has done even more inner roads than the legendary Samuel Bemudia and Ambrose Ali. I stand to be corrected. Not just in Benin City, but in almost every part of the state. Whether Akoko Edo or Onwa or in Esan area. There was somebody that was writing on social media that day, and he was happy at a particular length of road that was constructed at Uromi by Godwin Obaseki. You saw on video the other day that Ososo Hills, the road that he constructed as well. So, as I said before, no government will score 100%. But personally, I will give Godwin Obaseki an A+. I will give him 80% what he has done.
Okay. As we conclude,
and his best achievement will be Asue Godalo.
Okay. As we conclude now, because it's actually a sponsored interview, quickly talk to us about your last message to Edo people on your principles, prospects for Edo people.
My message for Edo people is that they should think of their future. They should think of what they leave for their children. I remember a song that the legendary Demude Akokore did many years ago when they said, think of future, think of future, think of waiting you go live for children. So I'm telling people to think of their future, think of their children. Let's forget about the ephemeral money that politicians will give. Let's look at who can better secure the future of Edo State and Edo people. And among the three lady candidates, who among these is well put together? Who among these have the plan for Edo State and Edo people? This is the person we should support. And if your mind tells you it is Asue Godalo, support him, irrespective of political party. You can be in APC or Labour Party. APC will not put food on your table. Today, that the prices of goods and services have increased astronomically. They are prohibitive. You cannot buy anything. The things I bought 500 naira some time ago is now 3,000 naira, just within 1 year. So, members of APC, are you going to show your party card and they will give you at a cheaper rate? No. So we must look at the person that best fits the description of the kind of governor Edo needs now. And that person is Asue Godalo. Huh. Let's support him, irrespective of whether we are Bini, Esan, or Afema. Let's support him, irrespective of whether we are members of APC, Labour Party, or PDP, or ABGA, or any other party. Let's support it to bring succor to Edo State, to bring succor to Edo people.
All right, sir.
And the future looks bright. With Asue Godalo and with his manifesto, which I think a manifesto of hope.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Vice. I hope to have you here again some other time.
Anytime.